Hey, you hear that? Silence! Finally! I've been trying to do this for months now. About 6, I think. There's a skit going at the end of this segment here that'll explain what happened. It's humorous, take it with a grain of salt. But I feel bad for Scott. I said I'd do this, I want to do this. But they started digging up my street 4 months ago, and 4. They started in May, I think it was, and it's now November. So they they're finally finished. I can get it done, but it's been so long that the background's changed from the first 2 videos, and a couple of games that I took initially are out of very low in stock. Okay, so I just want to mention them before we get it on to the game. All right, first one's called Insect Inc. It's a cool little memory game from Polar Pond Games. And what you're trying to do is players are trying to collect these insects in the forest here by combining cards. When they do, they'll slap the 2 cards that they think combine to make 1 insect. Alright, and then they take the card for points. But the whole time, whether they get the cards right or not, the forest cards are flipping and blending the other patterns in. Okay, and this will continue until one player wins the game. It's a cool little memory game. It's been helping me with my memory a little bit, pattern hunting too. And the other one is Yakatabuni, also from Polar Pond Games. This is unlike any game I've ever played, and I'm glad I had the chance to play it. Z Garcia did a great review on it. Go check it out. It's a semi-co-op pattern. It's tough to explain, but it's a very interesting game. Go check out Z's review. Other than that, like I said, this take forever. I'm sorry for getting it to this point. The first couple videos will be a little choppy because I'm going back and forth between footage, but the third one on should be good. Again, I want to apologize to Scott for taking so long. He's a good man. I'd do anything for that man, but I won't do that. Oh no. But without further ado, here we go. Enjoy. Hey, Barry here. Mr. Reynolds, if you're nasty boys. And welcome to Barry the Gimpy Gamer, the artist formerly known as a Gateway Gamer. Copyright pending. So usually I don't showcase things unless I believe in them. Now, I never had a sponsor. That's a mighty fine H2O. And I still don't consider this being sponsored. I plan on shipping these games back to Scott, except for one, which then claimed. He's not getting that one back. Any views or thoughts expressed on these videos are mine alone. They are not the opinions of Board Game Geek Store, or anybody under their umbrella. So why am I doing this? Well, because Scott's got me chained to this room and said I can't leave until I make a video for these games. It's been 6 years. I've been living off of nothing but beaver bites and brisket. I need a haircut and a shave. Somebody let me out, please. I'm kidding. Or am I? I was having a discussion with Scott Alden, owner of Board Game Geek, and we were discussing the BGG Store and how it was hard for him to sell certain games, Asian games in particular, I believe the conversation was about. So I went on to the BGG Store, and I saw this, and this, and this. Now, most of the games in the BGG Store are from foreign publishers, Asian publishers, French publishers, stuff like that. These publishers do not have any videos in English on how to play the game or any gameplay videos of these games. So I said to Scott, send me these games. Hey, Beaks. And he did, without question. He actually sent me a gift card and told me get whatever I want. But the real reason I'm doing this is this game right here. More importantly, what's in the box. I was talking to Scott on the album one night, and I was asking him about the Geek Up bits for Quacks. Jen and I got the game. We quite enjoyed it, but I was having a problem with my hands. I have some neurological issues with my hands and legs. And we were talking about this, and Scott sent me the Geek bits for the base game and every expansion without me asking, without me prompting him, just on his own. I've also seen Scott do this with other people, not only myself. If you want to check out Cafe Momentum, where he donates the proceeds from the BGG flea market or fall con to help improve the lives of underprivileged people by introducing them to the restaurant business, take them out of the hoods that they're in and opening them up to a new world. Like I said, I'm not the only one Scott's done this for. That's why I'm doing this, because of Scott. Not only Scott. This is a family affair with Scott. You know, his wife's involved with the BGG store when they go to cons. His mother and father-in-law are there with him, along with Beth and Christine, who runs the store. And over the years, I've met many of the BGG crew, and they're all good people. So if I can support them in any way, I will. If you want to support BGG, go to their website and become a user. Or you could go to the Board Game Geek YouTube website and like their video. Click subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification button. Or you could go to the Board Game Geek Store, where you'll find board games, promos, accessories, and more. All I am saying is give Scott some cash. So that's why I came out of retirement after 6 years. That, and he will not unlock the chain. So pull up a chair. I got the game, some WD-40, because I'm a rusty. And let's see what's in store. Hey, Barry here, and in store today we have Mana by Claude Leroy and Cosmoludo Games. A 2-player abstract strategic game. Takes about 10 minutes, give or take, for ages 8 and up. Mana is a cat and mouse game in which players have 6 pieces that they have to use in order to catch their opponent's daimyo. Alright, so the first thing to set up daimyo is put the board out in the center of the table, and then players are going to decide which one wants to go first. Whoever goes first will become the black player. The black player will take the board and place it so that this symbol here is facing them at their bottom left corner. Next, each player will take their daimyo and 5 ronins and place those pieces within reach of the player. During setup, you can only place your daimyos on one of these 3 spaces here that have the 2 symbol on it. Okay, so each player will choose which space to place it on. Then we will take our ronins and we will place them in the remaining empty spaces on the first row closest to that player. The final step of setup is to place your mana bird within easy access of each player, and you are ready to play Mana. In Mana, players will take turns moving their tokens, trying to catch each other's daimyo. Now, all tokens follow the same rules, whether they are the ronin or the daimyo. So if we look at the board here, we'll see symbols. This represents a 1, a 2, and a 3, and that dictates the amount of spaces you can move your token. Each player will take their token, and the symbol that the player's token started off on will dictate the number of spaces that that player can move their token. In this case, I have a 2. So my token here, the ronin, can move 1, 2. Now this could be in a straight line or what they call a broken line, with meaning instead of going 1, 2 in a straight line, I could go 1, 2. I can only do this or any movement orthogonally, meaning I could go up, down, left, or right. Alright, no diagonals. And with the broken line rule, that means that if I were to move, it would have to be at a 90-degree angle of the line I'm originally starting from. Now there's also a couple more simple rules to follow with movement. The first one is, a player cannot move their token through their own token or an opponent's token. The second rule is, a player cannot end their movement on a space with their own token. However, they can end their space on an opponent's token, capturing that token in the process. The third rule for movement is a token cannot move back into a space that they have already crossed or originated from. And the final rule is, the starting space of the player is dictated by the position of this mana bird. Meaning, wherever this mana bird is, a player has to choose a token that is on a spot that corresponds with the same symbol as the mana bird. Now, if the player starts their turn and the mana bird's on a symbol that none of their tokens are on, they have one of two options. The first one is they could choose any of their tokens and move them a number of spaces corresponding to the space that the mana bird started on. Okay, in this case, I can move this guy here 1. Then the mana bird would move to another symbol that equals the same as what the player chose. Alternatively, a player could choose to take one of their captured Ronins and place it in any open space on the board that corresponds with the mana bird. And then that would end their turn. If a player cannot move a token because they are boxed in, as in the case here, then their opponent gets to choose one of their tokens, any of their tokens, and they can take it to their advantage and move the number of spaces dictated by the mana bird, as usual. Okay, there's one more rule to the game, and then we'll get into the gameplay. And that final rule is that the mana bird must always move. Okay, an example of this would be, say we have the white player up like we do here. The mana bird is on a 1 space. The white player has no tokens on the white space to start off with. In this case, like I said earlier, they could choose to either move any of their tokens that number of spaces, or they could place one of their Ronins on a space corresponding to that. Okay, and that's what he's going to do here. In this case, he placed it on a 1 spot, which the mana bird is on, naturally, because that's how the rules work. So he must move that mana bird off of that spot and place it on any other 1 spot on the board. Okay, and that's how you play mana. So, stick around. Let's get into the game. Alright guys, it's been a while, so we're playing an easier game today. Mana, not easy, but easier to record, I should say. I will be the black player, you will be the white player, simply because that's how I set the board up. It's easier for me to keep track of. And also, by no means am I an expert at this game, so please be kind with the comments on how I play. So, other than that, let's get into mana. The first player is always the black player, and the mana bird is out of play for the first round. The black player, the first player, will choose one of their tokens, any one of them, and move them. After that, the mana bird will come into play. We'll see in a second. Alright, so the black player is up. I will move this guy here, 1, 2. Okay. Now, I could have went 1, 2, or I could have just went straight like I am, which is what I'm going to do. Now, I landed on a 1 symbol, so the mana bird will come in and fly to any open symbol corresponding to that on the board. Okay, I could use the mana bird to either block my opponent or save myself. Okay, this would be a better example. Later on, we'll get in the game and it'll be closer. You'll see. Patience. All right, so I'm going to place him here. Now it's the white player's turn. The white player must start on a space that corresponds with the mana bird. In this case, I only have these guys here. Let's go. We'll move him 1. Either way, it's going to be a 3, no matter which one I move. So he knows the black players can only move these 2 tokens because they're the only ones on 3. You could try and position it and block it to force one of these 2, whichever one he thinks the black player will choose, and navigate which way he wants them to move it, or just block them out straight. It's up to you. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just going to choose a spot that looks good. Alright, so it's the black player's turn. Like I said, only one of these 2 can move. Let's see. The object is to get to the demo here. And I know I'm butchering that name. I'm sorry. We'll move this guy a little closer. We're just going to go in a straight line here. 1, 2. You know what? We'll move him here. 3. Alright. So, white player can only move these 2 here. Doesn't really matter. I'll put them here. The mana bird goes there. White player's up. Let's see. I'll go this guy. 1, 2. Mana bird gets up, flies. Just put them there. There we go. Black player moves there. Mana bird flies way to a 3. Let's see. Fly, little birdie. We'll put him here. Not that it matters, because if this guy, he could go either way. All right, white player's up. Now I could move him up. 1, 2, take my opponent's Ronin, or do I just want to get off that line? You know what? I'll take a Ronin. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Takes the black player's Ronin. Mana bird flies away. Fly, little birdie. Let's see. This the one, or this one is going to move. We'll put them here. Now it's back to the black player's turn. You get the drift, back and forth, black, white, yeah. All right. So now the black player doesn't have a token that corresponds with a 1. In this case, the player could choose any of his tokens and move it the amount of spaces that the symbol dictated. So let's move our daimyo here. Okay, now even though it started on the 2 symbol, it has to move 1 because that's what the mana bird is on. All right, so I'm going to move him 1. And then the mana bird flies away. Fly, little birdie, fly. All right, so now white player can only move him or her. I don't know what the Ronin would be. So, I don't think it matters. Just put him here. All right, so now it's the white player's turn. See, so he's going to have to move either to a 3 or a 2. All right, so the black player here is knocking over the daimyo. Let's not do that. That's the loss at the end of the game. Shouldn't do that. I would like to try and protect this Ronin, but it doesn't matter. It looks like either way he's going to go. So let's limit his movement to 2. All right. So I could either move this Ronin or this Ronin here. I'm going to take out the other guys. 1, 2. Mana bird flies away to a 1 spot, which I forgot to move him to a 2 spot, but you get the idea. You saw me do it. All right, I cheated, but I didn't cheat. All right, so moving to a 1 spot. It's the white player's turn. It doesn't matter. Just put him here. White player's up. It's got to choose a 1. This is the only one I can move. Got a 3. Mana bird flies away. Fly, little birdie. We're going to let's see, him and him is 3. Yeah, I'll put it there. Okay, black player's up. I'm gonna move him. We're gonna get it right up in his grill. 2, 3. We go. Birdie flies away to a 1 spot. And I think I might have messed myself up there. Wasn't paying attention. Mana bird's on the 1 spot. White player has no token on a white spot, so I'm going to lose my own Ronin because the black player wasn't thinking. Trying to do a few things at a time. You get the drift. All right, so mana bird flies away. The mana bird must move off of the space that he was on. I don't remember if I made that clear or not. So he's going to choose an empty 1 spot on the board other than this one, which is where he started off at. Black player can move either one of these 2. He's only going to move 1 spot. But let me see. We'll get a 2 or a 3, regardless of where he moves. We'll just block it there. Put it there. All right. Black player's up. Like I said, one of these 2 must move. Do I want to give the white player a 2 or a 3? This is part of, I like this back and forth with the players, the opponent's movement and all that. But that'll wait till the end, I guess. Let's give him a 2. Okay, mana bird flies away. Fly, little birdie. And we'll block him. So we forced him to go that way, basically. Oh, wait, this is a 2-2. Didn't see it. All right, wasn't paying attention. Doesn't matter. Thought I had a game plan there. If I move here, I'll give him 3. Either way, I'm giving him 3. Okay, so I guess I'll just go like this. 1, 2. Mana bird flies away to a 3. Put him here. like I said, this is the only guy that can move on the black. So 1, 2, and then we'll start heading over to the daimyo. Well, Mana Bird flies away to a number 1. Where are we going to put him? We'll put him here. This guy's up. The only thing he can move is A3. Move 2 is A3. So put him here. 1. Mana Bird flies away to A3. You see the black player's up. He's not going to start anything. So I'm going to put him here. Alright, black player's up. Again, none of them are on a 3 symbol. So let's see what we're going to do. I could move this guy here and block in the daimyo, which I might do. I'm also thinking about moving my daimyo over and just trying to corner them and get the black players guys up towards the daimyo. So, I am going to move 1, 2, 3. I'm going to try and just block them in instead. I'll move them out here. All right, so the birdie flies away to a number 2 spot. And this is the only one that can move to, but unfortunately there's no other space to block them in there. So we'll put them over here. Okay, white player's up. Oh wait, I didn't see him. I'm gonna get the white player's gonna get his daimyo out of there. 1, 2, lands on a 3 spot. Mana Bird flies away to I'll block him in, I guess. Alright. Okay, so again, black player, the Mana Bird's on a 3 spot. Black player doesn't have anything on a 3 symbol, so I could take this guy's Ronin here, either one of these guys. Which I'm thinking about with either this token here or with the mana here. I could just go straight up and take him or him. And I could get him out from back there. This guy. I just won the game. I just saw that. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to choose this one. The Mana Bird's on the number 3 spot. 1, 2, 3. And that is the game. So, that was Mana. Hopefully you'll play better than I did. And stay tuned for what I think of the game. Alright, my thoughts on Mana. So, let's start with the components, I guess. The components are cool, it's a simplistic game, but I'm a woodworker, so I get into how things are made. The components, rather, look to be very well made. The joinery's cool on it, nice and tight. I'm wondering how they make them. Probably through a shaper right one way and flip it. I'm not sure. But as we said, like I said, I'm a woodworker. They're nice and solid. They won't break easily. I do like the look of them. The daimyo and the Ronins, they do look a lot different. So you don't really mix them up on the board too much, which is a plus, naturally. The artwork on the board and all that, it's kind of plain. It's just symbols, it's an abstract game. What do you expect? What else? I got my handy dandy notebook here so I don't forget things. I'm usually medicated quite a bit because of my physical things, so here we go. Components, I did that. The rule book. Rule book's very simple to read, very easy. 1 page. The only thing I do wish they did a little different is there's 5 rule books for this, 1 in each of the 5 different languages. This is not a real big thing. I just wish they put like a symbol or something on front saying that this is English or Dutch or Spanish or whatever. They all have English writing on the front of them. Again, not a real big thing. Once you get it, you can throw the other ones out or throw them underneath the insert in the box if you want. It's up to you. Along with that, there is a piece of paper here. This is the wrong game. There's a piece of paper here that came on the back of the box, and it was wrapped. I guess that's a choice on you, whether you want the plain box or not. It doesn't matter to me. I'll probably toss it. Well, I'll keep it in the back with the game, but I would normally toss them things. It's, not really a big selling point for me. Oh, one more thing. The box comes in one of these magnetic flip lid things. I don't know how I feel about them personally. They tend to not hold over time. The magnets just give up. It's tough with magnets. They're too strong. They rip the box apart. They're not strong enough. They do that. But the few games that I have with the magnetic things, they don't seem to hold. It could just be my luck in the draw. Could be different with other people. I don't know, but not a big fan of it. But for now, it's doing what it's doing. Rulebook, whatever that. The gameplay, I do like the gameplay. It's simple to learn. I've played this about a dozen times or so with my wife Jen, who is my main gaming partner, but also some brand new board gamers, neighbors across the street. They did like it. They said that it reminds them like chess. It was easy to learn like chess, even easier because of there's not so many rules on moving as there is in chess. This is pretty simple. You start off on a symbol. That symbol dictates how many spaces you move. So it is really easy to learn. You could play with players with AP as one downside to this game. My wife is like that. I tend to shoot from the gut when playing. She tends to think things through a lot more. You could run AP problems with that. But the game is so short that it really doesn't matter. The longest game I think I played was 25 minutes with Jen. So they're pretty quick. You could play 2-3 games in an hour. Another fault of this is one thing with abstract games is I do enjoy playing them, but they're not the first thing that come to mind. And that is a downside of this. I'm more into thematic games or heavy Euros at times, and sometimes lighter Euros, but so that could be a downside. If you're not into abstracts, this might not be a game for you. Cup of tea. I can't read my own writing. It is fast. It is an older game. It's a reprint of an older game, and there was a couple different variations with the components. This is a French game, which kind of surprised me. It's my own ignorance. I thought it was a Japanese game. I really didn't look into it. Just by looking at it, I thought it was a Japanese game. This is from a French company, and this is the latest edition. Component-wise, the components for the older versions are a little different, but it's been around for a while, so I guess it's people play it. Oh, there is a variant on how to set up the game in the beginning. I do enjoy the variant a little more. And then the variant, you can choose to place your tokens in either of the first 2 rows instead of just the first one, closest to the player. It tends to get into the action a little quicker. I do enjoy the variant. I've only played with it a few times, 2, I believe, but I did enjoy both times, and I'm actually thinking of switching over to the variant just to get it going a little quicker. But other than that, that's all I can say about Mana. So what is your favorite abstract strategic game? Let me know in the comments below. If this is something you think you would be interested in, check it out on BoardGameGeek.com. You can find more information there. And it is in stock in the Board Game Geek store right now. So that's it for Mana. Get gaming, have fun. Thanks for watching, and keep your head up. Gippy out! If you want to support BGG, go to their website and become a user. Or you could go to the Board Game Geek YouTube website and like their video. Click subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification button. Or you could go to the Board Game Geek store, where you'll find board games, promos, accessories, and more. All I am saying is Gift's got some cash.